Hi, I'm Aura, and I'm the host of Collective Mind, and I'm here with Onyx, my fiance, and the host of Primal Pack.
Hi, how you doing? Listen, I have to sound as gay as you do in that moment.
Okay, fine.
Just like as TV hoster. Like
Mm-hmm.
TV host.
Whatever. So we're doing another reaction video today, and this is to a DID short film called Alter, which has been recommended to me a bunch on YouTube, and then also someone from Discord also recommended it. Cool. Okay. So yeah, I have not seen this, and you have also not seen this, right?
Correct.
Cool.
Neither of us have seen this.
Yeah, so I don't really know what to expect.
Hence it being a blind reaction.
Yeah. If afterward I determine, like after watching it, that there are like major trigger warnings, I will put that here so that you can see. But I'm expecting it to probably be emotional and maybe heavy. But I have no idea, so maybe it's gonna be like a celebration of how fun it is to hang out with littles. I don't know. I doubt it, but it could be. Okay, let's go.
Let's go. Sorry, you sounded cute. I had to capitalize on the cuteness. Because I love it when you're cute.
Aww,
You're
that's
always
nice.
cute though. So that's cheating.
That's nice.
No, you're nice.
Aww. Fine, you're nice too, though. I don't want to get little because I think this is going to be stressful. Okay. Okay, so this was a film school project.
I kind of like those most of the time. Because the younger generation often has a much different viewpoint than the older one, and
Yeah.
film school projects aren't afraid to be themselves because they don't have as much to lose, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Which is nice. Oh my god, that was loud.
Okay. I am gonna stop already, just to point out that while that is what switching is like for a lot of people, it's not always what switching is like. So there's not always full blackout amnesia like that.
Yeah. Especially with OSDD systems.
Yeah. Especially because, like, there's two major ways that it can be. 2.5 major ways that it can be different than that. One is a lot of systems will have an inner world where that alter would have been spending time there in the meantime. So it wouldn't be like blinking and waking up somewhere else. But also, a lot of systems, especially like you said, OSDD systems, have significantly less amnesia, especially day to day. Tends to be the one I think that's lower for a lot of systems. But even for a DID diagnosis, it doesn't require you to have day-to-day amnesia between alters. It requires you to have some kind of significant amnesia, but there are like 3 major categories of that. So you don't have to have all of them for a DID diagnosis. I'm gonna be making a video about that soon. But yeah, that is a major way that switches can feel. It's not like that for me. And it's not like that for most alters in our system. It's not like that for me because I don't have day-to-day amnesia. I'm always co-fronting. And it's not like that for most of the other alters in our system because A, they would be in the inner world in the meantime, and B, a lot of frequent fronters, at least in our system, have really good communication. So they would switch and then like check with me usually about what's going on if they switch and we're in the middle of something. So
Yeah. Our system tries to do that, but because I'm not co all the time, or even close to it, I'm either out or not most times.
yeah.
Um, it can be disorienting at times, and there's definitely periods where I don't know where we are or something like that. That's why whenever we go to a new place, we try to like inform the whole system, like,
Yeah.
hey, we're going to be traveling, or like the thing that we were doing when we first moved was trying to orient ourselves with the new town.
Yeah. We do
Just
stuff
trying to
like
make
that
sure that
too.
we, yeah. That way, if we do wake up somewhere, or like quote unquote wake up, like we front somewhere, um, we have a relative idea where we are, or we're able
Yeah.
to handle it at that point because we have some semblance of, okay, we're near this place which is close to this, or I know how to get home from this space directly. So we do like a
Yeah.
lot of spatial recognition to try and sort out where we are.
We do a lot of that too, of making sure people know ahead of time when especially stressful things are going to be happening. Like doctor's visits are a big one for us, that we make sure, especially protectors, know ahead of time, hey, we have a doctor's visit this afternoon or whatever. So like protectors hang out near the front probably, keep littles away from the front, all of that.
It also saves on potentially getting triggered out.
Right, and saves on, if especially if a lot of the protectors who are the most likely to be triggered out in a situation like that, if they know in advance, they will be much less flustered, and especially if they were already close, they'll already have an idea of what's going on. So it's not as overwhelming as suddenly switching and being like, I'm in the middle of something and I don't know what's happening, and I need to figure out what's happening immediately, because especially in the case of a protector being triggered out, they're going to be in the mindset of something is wrong, like something dangerous is happening, and I need to instantly figure out what it is. We also have the benefit of living with you, and so we're usually with each other, and if someone switches and is really disoriented, the other system can help them too. So that can be very helpful.
Yeah, definitely.
Wait. What? No. No. Guys, those last 2 days. What happened?
It's happening again. I can't control it.
Have you been using the diaries? They're very helpful.
And I try. You have no idea what it's like to just wake up and just poof, your day is gone.
Yeah.
I've worked so hard to just get where I'm at.
Don't.
How do you feel about the diary thing?
That is a suggestion I keep hearing a lot, and it's stupid every time I hear it.
I go back
And I
and
get
forth
annoyed
on it.
by it. Because I understand it, but if other alters don't know about it, or don't diary, or don't care enough to,
Yep.
it doesn't happen. And then it's just
very
it
hard to
feels
reliably
defeated.
maintain it. Yeah.
Yeah, it feels
Especially for
defeating
bigger
because
systems.
we just can't do it, and then it's just like,
Yeah.
well, this sucks.
Yeah, and we had a while where we were trying to track switches on our phone, which, if we're going to try to do that, that's going to be the best way for us to do it, because we just about always have our phone on us. Whereas if we try to do it like in a physical journal like that, especially if it's multiple journals, like a journal for each altar, we can't carry around several backpacks full of journals everywhere we go. That's just not reasonable. But then we also ran into a lot of different altars fronting and not wanting to share anything about themselves. So tracking that switch in any way gets really difficult.
Uh-huh.
Or like rapid switching and things like that. It gets just really frustrating to be like, okay, well, I'm supposed to document that. How do I document that?
Yes. Exactly.
So we kind of just, it was really helpful for me at first, but we got to a point where we were like, this is no longer helpful, and it's just frustrating, and I feel defeated constantly that I'm not doing it well enough. So this is no longer benefiting us.
Yeah.
So I think it's case by case. I think it's something that's probably worth trying for a lot of systems, especially systems with full blackout amnesia like that, because it can help some with being less disoriented, and it can help feel less overwhelmed if you can look back and be like, okay, this is what we did the past 2 days, or whatever. And if you can if you can keep track of key things that are important, like someone took meds today, don't take meds again, type things. Like, there are some specific things that can be very specifically helpful, but it's more in the category of just keeping a schedule. Like, just having somewhere that everybody knows where to check. There's something we need to do today. These are the assignments we have. These are our appointments. This is when we have to go to work, stuff like that. Those things I think can be super helpful. Specifically tracking switches or keeping diaries, because the types of things that we would want to write about in a diary, we wouldn't want to be available to anyone else to read, which also makes it difficult.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't know. I don't think it's that different. Like, functionally, I don't think it has to be that different from the way that you would handle just being forgetful. You know? Like, it's almost similar to skills and stuff that I'll see with suggested for ADHD. If you have trouble keeping track of dates and times and like when things are supposed to happen and whether or not you took your meds and stuff, keeping track of that can be helpful. So, yeah, that's my take on it.
Don't be so hard on yourself. You know it's normal. It's a process. It happens every time you meet an alter. Remember, you're not alone.
Yeah, that's the problem.
No, of course. Alright, cool. Sorry. No, I can have the edits done by Friday and then I'll send it. Yeah. No, of course.
I hate that noise. It's frustrating me a lot that they're using that specific noise to indicate switching.
I get why they're doing it, but it still sucks.
Yeah, I get the benefit of using a noise for that. I don't like the noise they picked. And there's some caretakers close now because that scene with the little was really cute. That is a relatable frustration of having like adult responsibilities and also sharing your body with children who are unwilling or incapable or both of fulfilling those adult responsibilities. Like, we don't let most of our littles work on schoolwork for a combination of reasons. We have, like, we're in college, we have very heavy topics in our schoolwork very regularly, especially in our psychology and sociology classes. But also because the required tasks, like if they were to work on any assignments or anything like that, would be much, much, much more difficult for them to do and for them to effectively mask as an adult while doing it. So we tend to not let littles really work on that, even if they wanted to an extent. Like, there will be some exceptions occasionally. Like, we had a grammar class last semester that we had some littles who wanted to work on that sometimes. And that wasn't going to have super heavy topics in it. At least normally. And especially because I would always be co with them, I would be able to retain the information even if it went over their heads. So that can be really hard, though. Switching headache. Yep.
Come on, guys. This is important. Where's my laptop? Yeah, I already looked there. Thanks. Fine.
They're doing a good job with the different voices for different altars.
Hi! Oh my gosh! Look at you today, all preppy. I have something to show you.
Do I know you?
I know we agreed to wait until the exhibit, but I've shown some of your paintings to potential buyers.
Okay, that is... that,
That's
okay,
a really good face.
that too. But
That's a really
this-
good, just like, what the fuck?
this is an excellent example of how oblivious the average person is, even if you are not masking well. Like, seriously, it is... Like, it's kind of hilarious to us sometimes just how much people will look past just to not, like, have to think about someone in a complicated way. If that makes sense. Like, just brushing things off as I don't need to worry about that is so common. We catch ourselves by accident saying we all the time in situations where we're not out, and nobody has ever once called us on it. Not anybody ever.
I suppose that's true, yeah. I haven't really noticed that. Because I pay attention to it, but I know others
Right.
don't.
And there's like all kinds of stuff. Like, this is a very clear example of that should raise red flags. If you know someone and that person literally asks if they know you, like, that should be a red flag. But people are so used to treating things like that as just like playful joking. So you can get away with so much stuff like that. It can be funny sometimes.
Yeah.
There's a lot of interest. Come, come, come.
Excuse me.
I'll be back. It's amazing, I know.
That was okay. They did that very well. That was a really good example of a startle response, the kind that people would not notice, but seems super obvious to people who know to look for those things. That is very much an I was not expecting you to touch me and don't do it again physical reaction, but people are not gonna think twice about that.
Yeah.
Maybe a therapist. Maybe. We've had so many, like, trained medical professionals miss really obvious things like that, though.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh.
I have to go. Michael, where is it? Who's... the attic?
You're doing a good job of having very different mannerisms and stuff for different altars.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to be afraid. Every altar has its purpose. You need to give yourself a chance to meet her.
But I don't know if I want to meet a new one. We have a system, and it works well. I don't know much about her except what I've seen in the photos. She does stuff I never do. I have to make sure it's safe for all of us.
There's no such thing as evil identities.
Maybe you're right.
That was important to say.
Yeah. That doesn't
Especially
mean...
for her, but also for the purposes of having it in a film.
Yeah.
It is important to have that kind of statement be in there because media frequently portrays alters as
Yeah.
there's a sociopathic one or a psychopathic one or a murderous one or something like that. There's
Yeah.
always the dangerous ones, and
Yeah.
that just doesn't exist.
There's always the violent criminal.
So it's important to have media that's not that.
I completely agree. In this particular context, though, it's not really a worry about someone being inherently evil. It's a worry about someone causing harm, which can be totally unintentional and still cause harm. You know?
Mm-hmm.
Especially if someone doesn't really have communication or awareness of the rest of the system, you can unknowingly cause a lot of harm.
Yeah.
But yeah.
hate that noise.
Me too.
Hello? My name's Karen. What's your name?
I'm Anna.
Well, Anna, it's a pleasure to finally meet you. How are you?
Fine. Thank you. But I think Belle's mad at me. I didn't mean to upset her. I just wanted to paint.
Give her time. She'll understand.
Oh, it's done already? Is there a whole minute of credits?
I mean, maybe.
Yeah, it doesn't look like there's any kind of ending scene or anything.
That's okay.
So yeah. So it highlighted a lot of the like frustration about amnesia and like different interests and stuff like that. And then it kind of brought it around to acceptance and like treating each other as people.
Yeah. It can be hard when new altars show up, especially for a smaller system.
Yeah.
For a polyfrag system, or one that has like tons and tons of altars, it can be a lot easier sometimes because you've either handled it before, or it can have the mental effect of, oh, it's just another new one,
Right.
or whatever.
That's kind of the normal.
Yeah, but early on for us, when we thought there was only like 3 or 4 of us,
Mm-hmm.
like the first 4 altars that were mostly aware of each other was Luna and Sid and me, and then later on Freya, but
Mm-hmm.
it can be really distressing and hard to manage your life when, like, even if you all switch equally or whatever,
Yeah.
that's 25% of your day, and then suddenly it gets cut down to 20%. Like, you just lost 5% of your life to someone else. It can feel like.
There can
And it's hard to
also
not
be
take it personally or
Yeah.
feel like you're losing everything.
There can also be a component of like the rest of us know how to work together already. We have stuff that we've agreed on about how we go about these things, and you're just not doing any of that. And it's
Yeah.
because like they haven't been a part of that conversation yet in most cases. They're not necessarily actively pushing against those things just because they don't know about them.
Mm-hmm.
But like if someone shows up and just starts doing their own thing and you have an established routine and setup of things that works, and then you're suddenly like, okay, apparently I missed 2 days and nobody wrote down what happened, and you're used to everybody doing that, that would be very frustrating.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it did a good job. I don't think it was stigmatizing. Like,
No,
nothing jumped out at me as a red flag.
I think it did a good job too. The sound was really
Yeah.
overwhelming on the senses especially for people that often get
Sensory overload.
that's the word. Yeah,
Yep.
that's the one. I was trying so hard
I know.
to think of that word. I'm sorry. But yeah, especially for that kind of thing, it's extremely overwhelming. But it did a really good job that it can happen anywhere at any time and it's not under your control. And it sucks, but nobody's trying to hurt you, and
Yeah.
the altars, much like every person that's in this world, didn't ask to be born, quote unquote. They can't help it.
And that it might be noticeable to someone who's looking for it, like their therapist recognized a switch when they saw one. But
Yeah.
to other people, like if you're just in public, you pausing in the middle of the sidewalk for a couple seconds, blinking a few times, and then shaking your head and continuing to walk is not gonna raise any red flags for anybody. So,
And also, there's people that think Sid and I sound the same. And
that's
to
so
us, we
ridiculous to
sound
me.
nothing alike. And to you, because you know what we're like differently. But so many people think we sound pretty similar. And I don't understand that at all. Because to me, I sound nothing like him. Like, hearing his voice recorded for the first time is horrifying to me. Because I was like, God, there's that much of a difference?
It's okay. I have no way to prove this because I never knew your system without knowing that you were a system. But I feel certain that if I hadn't even known about DID or anything yet, and I had just heard your two voices, I would have been like, oh, that's very different. Like, if I had just heard the two voices just in audio without seeing you, I would have thought it was two different people. And beyond that, I would have thought, like, oh, you're putting on a voice or something. Like, if I hadn't known about system stuff, I would have been like, why are you talking like that now?
A good reason for like why we were doing it before was we could play it off as just like trans voice training or whatever. Because we're transitioning the body to make it more comfortable for me and a bunch of other female alters. Because we have a lot of them.
Yeah.
And kind of like changing the paint job on a car, stuff like that. But a lot of people just equated it to voice training or whatever, or just automatically thought that, and that was like the go-to excuse of, oh, they're just tired of training their voice today, or they're just not putting on the effort. And that's not always the nicest.
Right.
Because trans shit.
But beyond that, like, just the sound of the voice is not the only dramatic difference between the two of you, especially in person. The words that you'll use, like the way you talk about things, the specific perspective you'll be coming from, the way you carry the body, like, all of that is dramatically different. Like, we very regularly are almost certain that you switched, and in a lot of cases can correctly guess who it is without you saying anything. Like, we'll just look over and the facial expression will be like, oh, that's a Sid face. But yeah, I don't get how so many people seem to not be able to tell the difference between your voices or just brush it off for whatever reason. I don't know. And I've witnessed multiple people, like, be confused and be, like, even if they know about system stuff, like, I've seen people who have been introduced to both of you separately and know that you're a system, like, try to guess who's out between you and Sid and get it wrong. And I'm like, how could you possibly?
God damn it, I've been talking and my mic's muted.
Sorry.
It's fine. I apparently just sat on like the mute control function or something. Because I have the inline thing that I wasn't expecting.
I'm sorry.
Gah.
What were you
Gavrar.
saying?
I don't know. I was just like adding little things and I thought you were responding to me. Because it
Oh no!
sounded like it.
I was trying to keep talking in case you had just muted for a minute, like you needed to clear your throat or something. And, like, I wanted to keep talking, like, so I didn't have to cut as much out, basically. But it's fine. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. It's not your fault. It just sucks. Because I didn't realize it.
That's so funny that it didn't sound like I was talking over you or anything like that.
Yeah, it was just like perfectly lined up. And I was just like, oh, yeah, they know I'm here. They're responding. Like, it seemed like they were going with what I was saying.
Yeah.
Man.
Alright. Anything else you want to add about the short film?
No. It was good.
Okay. Yeah, I agree. I liked it. It wasn't as stressful or triggering as I was worried it might be. Because, like, a format like this could have easily decided to visually show a flashback, for instance.
Yeah.
Like, to dramatically show the PTSD side of the disorder. But I'm glad it focused on the very specific, like, the DID specific diagnostic criteria, because the PTSD stuff technically isn't in the diagnostic criteria for DID. Anyway, yeah. I hope you guys liked it too. And if you did, there's a like button, and I will link the original short film like I always do when we react to something. I'll link it in the description so that you can go watch it if you want. There's also other links in the description as usual, like the Discord and our Etsy shop and all that stuff. Whoa. This is my outro, Onyx.
Thanks for watching. Bye.
Yeah. Okay. There's things on the screen you can click if you want. Like other reactions and videos about DID and our most recent video. And there's another way to subscribe on the screen.
Good job.
Thanks for watching. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.